Hey, what's up guys? Jake here, doing my first video for YouTube. There's supposed to be a ban and restricted announcement tomorrow, which is Tuesday, I believe the 25th. Today's Monday the 24th. And I just wanted to kind of talk about what I think is going to get unbanned for the formats of Magic the Gathering, and what's probably going to get banned, and what's going to probably stay banned that some people think should be unbanned. So I went through the ban list for Modern, and Birthing Pod seems fine. I mean, we have a lot more ways to deal with Birthing Pod now than back in the day. Right now we have stuff like Force of Vigor, lets you pitch a green card to get rid of 2 artifacts and or enchantments. A really powerful way. Also, you have stuff like Prismari Command that wasn't in the format back then, which is a really good all-around answer stuff. And there's a lot of artifacts that need to be answered in the Modern format, so I think it would be perfectly fine. And even 3 mana to drop that down is kind of a lot to ask for a combo deck nowadays, where you really don't see as many Collected Company decks post Modern Horizons 2. Moving on, next was Blazing Shoal. I think this would be absolutely fine. It was banned for Infect purposes, which I think Infect is the decks that are running right now are pretty well locked into being either black-green or black-green-blue, or blue-green, or even you have some weird mono-green versions. I don't think Blazing Shoal would make that much of an impact. The next thing is Bridge from Below. I really think this should be unbanned. I don't think it should have been banned in the first place. It's a combo piece for a lot of graveyard decks, but it's not that hard to interact with really, and it was banned as a way to try to keep Hogak from getting banned because it was a money card at the time, and it really didn't even affect the deck, and for some reason it just never went back on it. I think that'd be perfectly fine to unban. Then you got Glimpse of Nature. I don't think it would necessarily be a great card in the format. It's definitely powerful. It'd be interesting to see what people could try to do with it, and again, I think it's something that might be too slow for the format anyways. You're not casting it turn 1 most of the time to get some sort of crazy advantage, but who knows, there could be some nuts combo decks that could go with stuff like Hangerback Walker and things of that nature. Green Sun Zenith, I think that card's probably too good. Being able to search your deck for any green creature and just being able to cast it on 1 as a ramp spell for Dryad Arbor, I think that card's too nuts for the format. You've already got stuff like Court of Calling, which is pretty decent. You've got, there was some card, I can't remember, from War of the Spark that lets you pay 2 green and X, and you can search for any creature in your graveyard equal to X or in your library and put it into play. Those are fine. I think having a 1 mana that gets sorcery that shuffles back into your deck is way too powerful. Next on the list, you got Mycosynth Lattice. Probably too good. You know, it would go back into Tron and just be oppressive, and it doesn't make for fun games either. That's another big thing is some decks like Glimpse of Nature, you can still interact with it, you can get around it pretty well, but things like, and you can still have fun games, but Mycosynth Lattice, once it gets down, you're not having a fun game anymore. You're trying to somehow make a comeback when you can't use any of your stuff. It's just over. I'd rather just be playing against a combo deck that wins, because then you're just stuck in a game where you might want to finish out the rounds and you don't want to take the loss, so maybe you try to go for a draw or something. And it just takes too long. Punishing Fire. It's a 2 mana burn spell. Whenever your opponents gain life, they can pay 1 red. You can pay 1 red and put it back in your hand. It's fine. I mean, I doubt you're going to get comboed out by it. It's way too slow, I think, in Modern's current format. Splinter Twin. I don't think it should be unbanned. I know there's a lot of people that would like it to be. I think coupled with Force of Negation, I think it would be too good. And then they've got access to that and Prismari Command, and a lot of that stuff is all flash based, so you're tapping on your opponent's turn so that you can set up for your Splinter Twin for the following turn. I just think it would be probably too good, but I wouldn't unban it if I was Wizards, but they probably will. Umezawa's Jitte, I think it would be fine. Way too underpowered. I'm not going to talk about this one too much. I think there's a lot of people on YouTube I've listened to that have talked about it. Go listen to them. Umezawa's Jitte would be perfectly fine. can watch Versus Live with Star City Games and stuff, and I'm pretty sure they've had conversations. It's just too slow, I think. You know, you're going to get that, or you're going to go get a sword, or you're going to go get Batterskull. Those are way more powerful artifact equipments. Next, I'm going to move on and talk about stuff that should be banned and taken out of the format. Standard. I don't really play much Standard. I do a little bit on Arena, but I don't know enough about it. It's probably fine for the most part, other than it being a really bad format, in my opinion. Modern, get rid of Lurrus. It's too good. Too many decks can just easily run it as a companion and get that crazy benefit, and they might not even be a graveyard deck. You know, Red Burn, Boros Burn, as well as Red Burn can run them. Well, I guess it has to be Boros for the colors. But it's an easy thing to include, and they absolutely should be. And then you got stuff like the Death Shadow decks, and you've got the Black-Red Rakdos decks that run stuff like the Titan there that can be brought back from the graveyard. Her name kind of eludes me, or his name. Yeah, it's fine. Then you got Ragavan. I'd like to see Ragavan banned. However, I don't think it will be. Not yet, anyways. I think it'll be probably next time or the time after that. I think it's too good for the format. I mean, it's an incredible 1-mana legendary, and you're almost crazy not to be playing it, other than the fact that it costs financially so much to buy into it. But I mean, it is worth quite a bit, and it would be a bummer for the people who have copies to see it get banned. But I do think it's probably too overpowered for the format. They could probably ban Mishra's Bauble, but they probably will not. They're going to want to see how the format exists with Lurrus being gone, and if Mishra's Bauble's still super good. And I think it's not going to be super good, but it's definitely good, as it's a cantrip for free, and it helps with Delirium for stuff like Dragon Rage Channeler. And I think Delirium's kind of something they want to keep around and keep moving, and it's something that really helps decks take advantage of that mechanic. Let's see. Then I moved on to Legacy and Ragavan. Ragavan's got to go in Legacy. It's just too powerful of a card in the format. There's probably some other stuff that could go too, but I think Ragavan in particular is an easy thing to ban for Legacy. It's too good there. Red-blue decks have always been very strong because they have access to stuff like Force of Negation, Force of Will. It's just a really good, plus all the cantrips, Ponder, Preordain, Brainstorm, which, by the way, those are cards they should absolutely not unban in Modern, not Brainstorm, as that isn't actually legal anyways, but Ponder and Preordain should be left on the ban list. Too powerful. We've got good cantrips in Modern already. If you can't tell, I prefer Modern over these other formats. I actually would love to play Legacy if they could ever create a Legacy Light where the dual lands were not in the format because they're just outrageous, or if you could just proxy them and be able to play them. I think that would be fine as well. Other than that, Legacy, I don't play much. I watch some of it here and there. I think Legacy's pretty good overall, but I just think Ragavan's probably too good. It's another thing that they printed kind of like Ren and 6, where it was just too good for the format. Mainly because they probably weren't thinking of the impact, or they didn't care about the impact it would have on Legacy compared to other formats. And then you got Pioneer. I think Pioneer is pretty good. I've watched a few games here and there. I've played some Pioneer. I think that Lurrus will probably stick around there and be able to shine in that format, probably for quite a while, because there's not really a lot of 0 mana cost things. You got stuff like Tormod's Crypt. There's a Mox. I think it's Mox Amber. But those are like not crazy good cards in the format. So I think Lurrus will be fine there. And I can't really think of any cards that really should be banned from that format. There is that one, there's a card that goes in the Angels deck that's like an artifact, I think, that when you cast it, you can put a counter on an Angel, and you put it on one of your lands. And if people can't get rid of it, you can't lose the game for as long as that permanent has a counter on it. That's probably something that's a little bit too strong, just because you could literally get into a game where you're able to keep them at bay, and then they're able to not lose the game. And so you just get stuck into a really long round. I've seen some games like this at the local game shops as well. Anyways, that's about all I have for this. I wanted to get on here and kind of give some thoughts. Figured maybe people would want to tune in and check it out. Anyways, hope you guys are having a good day out there and staying safe, and I'll catch you later. Bye.